If you want to see automotive carnage, mechanical breakage, if you're gonna break it right. Well, I think we got a big enough truck. You guys have been asking me for an F450 update, and it's not great. Let's get into what happened, when it happened, how it broke, and what we're doing to fix it, and everything else that needs some attention. Well, this is a good look now, isn't it? I was headed into town, picked up a weird vibration, heard a weird thump, immediately pulled over, and that's my drive shaft off the back of the transfer case. There's a bolt, there's a bolt, there's no bolt, there's no bolt. So it looks like we lost 2 bolts, broke 2 bolts. I got an oil leak from somewhere, but that's not my concern right now. I gotta get home, and that ain't getting me nowhere. I can lock the front hubs in, throw it in 4 high, and do about 20 miles, 30 miles an hour that way, which is my plan. But I gotta unbolt the rear of the drive shaft, because that is gonna spin when those wheels spin, and then this is gonna want to spin, and then this is gonna flop around and break things. So let's drop the drive shaft. I gotta find this oil leak. I knew it was dripping, but I didn't think it was anywhere near that bad. I hadn't been pulled over here for more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I guess one of the advantages to driving a work truck is, at least if it breaks, I've got tools. Turn the other way, baby. Well, I was gonna tie the drive shaft up, but there wasn't a great place to do that at the front. And then I realized I had the back loose anyway, so just dropped the carrier bearing, pulled the whole thing out. Front hubs are locked in, so we are gonna slowly front wheel drive our F450 back to the house. Well, I didn't see that until just now, but I sure see it. That transmission mount's broke. That thing did way more damage than I thought. I saw the bashed in exhaust, and I saw the dent in the front of the fuel tank, but that... does that bolt on? No. Shoot. I need a tail housing now. Oh, man. I guess that explains the oil. I didn't think I had a leak that big, but damn. Okay. Time to call a tow truck. So we're at the shop with the 450. During the tow back to the house, the transfer case that was broken off the transmission, well, broke the rest of the way off. So we're gonna drop that out of here real quick, real simple, hopefully. And then, with any luck, have a transmission out in just a little bit. I'm stuck on the rock. All right. What is that? Oh no. Something up front. So we got a bolt there. Oh my God. What? Jared, that was the front of the transmission casting being busted.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like, oh, here's one bell housing bolt. Where's... That's what that clank was.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, this just keeps on getting better, Jared.
Oh,
getting
my.
better. So we'll start Back here, all of this busted, jagged metal could be attached to all of that busted, jagged metal. All that's broken. And then this. This just came off?
Yeah.
This was attached like 3 minutes ago.
It's not anymore.
Oh, wow.
It said RIP.
This is getting worse by the minute, Jerry. Because this part broke off a second ago. And then that. Wow. All from a drive shaft coming loose. That's not salvageable. That's not rebuildable. Yeah, that's, I mean, it looks good, right? That looks fine. So let's crawl under here while everything is nice and open, and I want to take a look at this exhaust leak that sounds like it's coming from my up pipes, and the oil leak that's coming from God only knows where. That's the exhaust leak right there, where that up pipe meets the manifold. I don't see the source of this oil leak though. Back pressure pedestal. Ooh, doesn't look wet.
It wouldn't have been my first guess.
Well, they are known to leak. Whatever. I guess I need to pull this clutch off.
I was even almost going to bring you a cordless one, and then
Pilot bushing's done. Like it's in multiple pieces, it looks like.
how about the flywheel?
It's even worse.
You need the puller to get the throwout bearing out, or not the pilot bearing.
Pilot bearing
Holy!
is done.
Did you see the input shaft?
I haven't even looked at the input shaft yet.
It's probably
Just as bad?
50 thou smaller. I think there's your source.
Well, the needle bearings inside this pilot bearing have disintegrated and are all laying here in the flywheel.
That's good, right? Yeah.
I'm sure they're meant to do that, right? So here's the back of our engine. We clearly have an oil leak from up on top somewhere that's running down. All this is wet, but you can see it's coming from up there. We got an exhaust leak over here at the up pipe. I got another oil leak behind the oil cooler mounting gasket. Yeah. What else? That's all I see right in front of me. Oh, that's
Pick your light up, because without light.
that's bad. That input shaft has been done for
That's what I'm saying. I
a
think
minute. I don't think, I mean, aside from the case not being buildable, now we need the back of the case.
the front of the case.
Yeah, we need the back, we need the front, we need an input shaft. We might need an output shaft because that could have got bent when the transfer case broke apart. Y'all ready to find an oil leak? Let's go. Where is this coming from? I cannot see. I got a little seepage around the exhaust back pressure rod. So what Ford International did on these 7.3s is you have your up pipes feed into your turbo. Between your turbo and the down pipe, there's an exhaust back pressure valve. It's a little valve that will literally close and restrict the exhaust flow. It is supposed to help it warm up in cold temperatures and that sort of thing. Does it really work? I don't know, but the little shaft that actuates it is bad about leaking oil, and it looks like mine is, but it doesn't look like that's leaking bad enough to create all of this. I mean, it could, but it should take a while. What is this? That is that's like a foot long piece of RTV or something. That's just a drain hole. So this little hole here that you see right yonder wise is just a drain for the valley, which is why so many people think 7.3s blow rear main seals, and they don't. Stuff leaks up top in the valley in the high pressure oil system, runs through this drain hole and runs right down here onto your rear main seal, then down the back of the pan. That's why it'll look like you have a blown rear main, and you don't 90% of the time. It's not impossible, but it is uncommon. And we can see here all my oil is coming down from there. And then we got to deal with that too. That's okay. I went ahead and pulled the turbo out. The exhaust back pressure system is seeping a little oil. It's not leaking bad. If we come over here, here's the turbo itself. You can see there is no sign of leakage on the actual turbo. Come over here to the pedestal that the turbo mounts on. The turbo sits up here. This mounts to the block. This is the exhaust back pressure valve control linkage. You can see right there, it's been kind of weeping, kind of seeping, but if you look under that, the pedestal's dry. So that is not my major oil leak, but there's no better time than now to address that. That leak is not gonna get better by itself. So I got the flange here that broke off the transfer case sorted. These bolts came out okay. The U-joint came out in one piece. I hope somebody somewhere put anti-seize on these at one point in time or another. I am genuinely impressed those all came loose like that. Sweet. I expected way more of a fight. So here's our original exhaust housing. Here's our replacement. You can see they're identical other than the fact this one doesn't have that. So hopefully no more leak point there.
Maybe even Willie the welder will have to play a small role in reattachment.
Oh, we're just naming it all now.
Oh, we ain't in a good position. That really doesn't look like all the things are going to fit.
It doesn't look like, but they do.
I feel like a Cummins has more space.
It does, I think. Unless it's one of the 6.7s.
They lose a lot of space.
I'll do 4 of these before I'll do one of those.
Oh.
Maybe 5 of these. RIP to the Canon M50. My big camera, my good camera, died. It recorded everything you've seen up to this point other than the side of the road stuff, and it gave up on life and the world and everything I needed it to do while we were reinstalling the transmission and the transfer case and fixing the exhaust. You see that shiny new exhaust section? There's our transfer case hanging on the back of our new transmission, and I gotta fix that drive shaft. Yeah, that drive shaft is supposed to go over that cross member, and I forgot to put it up there, so that's got to get done. The rear drive shaft has got to go in. It's up here. It's been rebuilt. Brand new U-joints all the way through. So here's our drive shaft. I got to pull the U-joint strap here. That bolt right there is a little rounded, so that has got to be dealt with yet. I'm going to hold on the back.
Oh yeah.
There we are.
Yeah, but your crosses. Not.
I might need a new U-joint. So there's the fluid that came out of the transfer case, and there's what we're putting back in it. That's going in the transmission too. We're just going to put it in that AMSOIL bottle so we can use this pump, because that fill hole is really inconvenient. Drive shaft is in, exhaust is tacked up, U-joints are greased, transfer case, transmission, all that good stuff. Let's see if it moves.
Go in every hole?
Goes in all 6. I'm gonna try to go backwards. Am I tires straight? Straight enough? good block. How many miles is that on it, Blake? 233, 649. I'm going backwards. Out of the shop now. Stuff's flying off the back and going everywhere. Alright, we are about 70 miles into our test drive the next day. We finished this up around 11:30 last night. I took it home, hooked it to a trailer, and now we're hauling equipment to Denver. I'm off pins and needles a little bit. I'm not as nervous. You know, anytime you do a major repair, that first test drive is always just, you want everything to go right. And knock on wood, we're moving. So that's better than what I had earlier. Yeah, it is a little bumpy. That's a combination of the road and the tires. Trust me, I am trying to be super keyed into anything that might be vibrating. But we've got 6 new tires for this. Yeah, that's the other reason this job got so expensive so fast, is literally the night before the drive shaft came loose, I ordered 6 brand new Michelin tires for this truck. And then drove it to town, and well, we all saw how that went. So I'm gonna go drop this thing off in Denver. Hopefully that is smooth, and the next time you see me is gonna be in a split second getting new tires. Well, I got the drive shaft in with a new U-joint in the front, and I have a leak again. You can see the transmission is clean and new, and there is oil coming down from up on top on the passenger side somewhere. So we are gonna go find that. Also, as you can ever so clearly see, we have not made it to the tire shop yet. Nobody could get us in, so I've got all 6 of them right there. We have an appointment to do that in about an hour, so hopefully we can at least figure out where this leak is coming from between now and then. I knew the turbo was leaking, but that wasn't bad enough to do everything I was getting. It's this high pressure line right here. Right here. I would put money on that. Look at that oil down there. So we've got maybe, there's the puddle. There's a puddle. So this high pressure oil line has given me trouble previously leaking. And there are several companies that make kits to deal with these oil lines. From the factory, the Ford setup, a lot of people do not think is very ideal. So it looks like this has already been replaced once with a stainless line, because that's definitely not factory. But for now, I'm gonna hopefully just tighten this fitting down here, and then we are gonna figure out a good aftermarket permanent solution for this. Maybe I can show it to you a little better. Well, that blocks out the light. Maybe you can see it now, but that's, I believe that to be our leak point at high pressure line right there, because I don't really see a whole lot up here in front of it anywhere. I got a little bit of a seep around the fuel bowl drain, but that's different. Oh, tire shop's calling. All right, got our leaky oil line off. It looks like it's leaking out of the bottom of this snap to connect fitting. I was hoping it was just that O-ring there. You can see this O-ring is not super happy. It's a little bit chewed up. I don't think it's our whole leak, but we are definitely gonna go ahead and replace that. I should have one in here somewhere. And bam! Let's go put this one on and maybe it won't leak as bad. Well, the new tires turned out pretty good in my opinion. They look good, they ride well. I'm pretty happy with how all that worked out. It looks like replacing our O-ring has, at the very least, slowed our oil leak. Now, I don't think that oil leak is done. I think the actual snap to connect fitting right there is leaking. So I'm going to be getting an aftermarket set of lines for that thing sometime in the very, very near future. I've got to pull the oil cooler off again. I got a leak behind that. If you want to see that stuff, make sure you subscribe. But I think we're going to wrap this one up here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and more later.